Thank you very much. And let me start by first thanking Elets for giving us this opportunity of participating in this very exciting conclave and listening to very learned speakers and also sharing our views here. The topic that we have today, it's something which you can go on and on and on. But given the constraint of time that we have, we will have to confine ourselves to certain key aspects of the frontiers in technology and what is happening. In today's world, as we all know, knowledge is something which is available on the fingertips. So if you want to learn about anything, you can just Google it and get the knowledge, right? So as far as getting the knowledge that is already available in the public domain, it's not a very big deal and not something, which you have come here to know about. So what we will try to bring to you is the unique insights which our esteemed panelists have, because many of them have done wonderful innovation in their own ways. And they come with a massive amount of experience and a very varied experience in these fields. So what we would like to learn from them is something which is out of their practical experience, something which is not available in the public domain, something which you can't Google and find out. And that learning is something which I believe you can maybe try to apply in your own environment and then see whether some of the learnings, can be carried home and can be of use. So what we'll do is we'll divide this section into three parts. First, I'll ask each one of them to share some of the unique things, which they have done, Then we will move on to what is it that they believe will happen in the next few years, and we'll confine ourselves maybe to the next 1 or 2 years, because the rapidity with which technology is changing is something, which makes it very difficult to predict a very long future in technology. And then we will talk something about ecosystem, because in the ecosystem, as we have seen in the past few years, there have been a lot of enablers that have got created, but perhaps there are certain things, which might also be retardants, or certain things, which might come as hurdles. And then we would like to have their views, and maybe they can express their views quite openly also, because from this forum, perhaps there could be a carry away even to the higher echelons of power, where decision-making happens, and maybe some of those things could help in proper decision-making at the appropriate level. So let me start now with asking about what is it that you have done in the last few years, which you would like to share with the audience, and which you feel is something which is innovative, something which was unique, something which added value to the customer, which was missing in the past. So may I start with you, please?
Hello. First of all, I'd like to thank Elets for giving this opportunity. It's a privilege to be part of such an elite panel. In that case, this is Shailesh from Fino. Innovation, if you ask, is the embedding of our model, which is the payment bank model, actually didn't exist till the time the regulator came out with the license. And in fact, if you go back, half of the people who got the license actually surrendered because they think that, this model without lending out will work in that space. But we and other few of our competition which survived, basically went through and trying to address the segment which was not able to address earlier in a commercial way, which was the financial inclusion part of it. When we started our journey and when we went to the consumers, we did the same thing what the private banks, let's say ICICI would have done in the 90s, to understand what the consumer want. And we realized that whatever the problems they highlighted, we were able to, solve that problem. But the biggest problem was it used to take 3 to 4 weeks to onboard a customer. We came with a journey where you can onboard the customer with just one Aadhaar document and a PAN card in 4 minutes, give the debit card on the counter with a pin, which is a green pin, in 10 minutes. So the same consumer used to travel hundreds of kilometers and, take weeks and weeks to get the transaction account opened. Suddenly, like I would say privileged banking, was able to, get the account open in 10 minutes. And because of the millions of outlets, the business correspondent which we had, it happened just in the village where he was there. So that fear of banking actually went out of that. Then we, on a regular basis, we made this mobile number as his bank account number. So what happened that he didn't have to, carry his passbook, didn't have to remember the account number of himself. And when he goes into the banking, he doesn't have to fill any paper. It became a paperless bank, so he can withdraw just by, quoting his mobile number and just putting an Aadhaar and OTP, whichever he feels comfortable. So the entire fear of, getting into a branch, the entire fear of, banking is a headache and it's not for the financially excluded people. We were able to, develop a model in that case. Today we have close to 1.35 crores customer base, which is there. But the fundamental, which I think Captain was also speaking in his address, that this relentless focus on customer, what does the customer want and can we deliver what the customer want, rather than trying to deliver something which the ecosystem anyway delivers in that case. So knowing your customer and trying to deliver that customer, I think is the most key parameter for any business institution. And we as a bank have been continuously trying to do that, which has helped us today to make a model which was a written off model into a profitable model. Consider the last 3 years we are now listed organization also. And it helps us to, further go into those I would say use cases which we have not done earlier, but the fundamental at our core would be always to provide a solution which a customer wants. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much, Sachdev. In fact, there's a very interesting thing which he said, that we made the mobile number the account number of the customer. Now just think of it from the customer experience perspective. It's so easy to remember your mobile number and so difficult to remember your account number. But, a little bit of out of the box thinking and you add to customer guide. So I'm sure, Priyam, you would also have something similar to share, right? So
Sure, yeah. Hi, I am Priyam. I am currently with Saraswat Bank. So yes, there are many things that have happened in the last few years, in the last 10 years or so, or 8-9 years. And I was in fact a part of the founding team at AU Small Finance Bank when Small Finance Bank licenses were given. And I was leading the bank project then. And a lot of changes were done there also. So one of the biggest things which have happened in the last few years is financial inclusion. Financial inclusion index went up from 44.3 as of March 17 to 64.3 now in March 24. And a big chunk happened obviously because of JAM and also because of a lot of innovations which happened on the scoring models. So a lot of scoring models were invented. A lot of consumer behavior data was collated to give money to the segment which was otherwise not touched by the bank. So in my previous company, we did a lot of assessed income-based lending. And for that, a lot of technology was used. Obviously, the onboarding process, as mentioned by Shailesh, was made easy. There was fear in the minds of a particular section of society to enter banks. So that fear was taken away with Aadhaar, and obviously life was made easier for us. But that was backed with a lot of efforts on how we use, the various data points. And now, even now, a lot of things are happening on the big data to get the right risk scoring done and lend money to a segment which was otherwise not touched. So that was one big innovation. Two was riding on the innovation of certain fintechs. So you would have heard of open AI, open banking, and how, APIs were, banks were riding on APIs and going ahead with open banking. So we as a bank were also, we had tied up with a few fintechs who had a good idea of, say, lending into an unsecured segment, a very different unsecured segment where you lend at 20-25%, which banks might not be having. So on the basis of their expertise and their algorithm, banks were using those algorithms on their database and coming up with, lending solutions for unsecured loans. So on the secured side, again, as we talk, in some states, digitization is also happening of the secured data. So if I talk about two main things which led financial, where I was part of the of a bank which was into financial inclusion, was the scoring model and riding on certain fintechs with what innovation they had brought in and making lives easier for people. And last but not the least, the agreement journey, the loan processing journey, and end-to-end agreement, up to disbursement journey, was made easy in the industry, and not just by my current bank or previous bank. But that journey has become very easy, where people log in, this give their details, and end-to-end till disbursement, it happens with various APIs talking to the banking system and coming up with a loan for the customer. I am aware of company like Early Salary 5, as it is called now. They have been riding on such such integrations, and they have made a huge book. So now we have a lot of fintech turned NBFCs who are having their own book riding on such end-to-end journeys and with algorithms that they have come up with, which has resulted in inclusion. It has not just happened because of any particular one thing. So all these things have led to this financial inclusion index going up by around 20 basis points.
Right. Thank you very much, Priyam. In fact, it's a wonderful thing that he has mentioned about, using technology to do credit assessment, especially for those, who are new to credit. Because it's very, very difficult, people who have no documentation, who have no history on which you can fall back. And yet you need to do credit assessment of these people, because otherwise how do you decide upon how much to lend? So it's a wonderful use case of which he has brought to the fore, right? And now turn to MVS. You have been a great innovator yourself. You are a founder of startups. So you have both the experience of being a startup founder and now, of course, in the bank. So please share your experience.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody, and thank you, Dhananjaya sir. I think I just want to create a context for us where all the innovation is coming in. Number one is that the collective intelligence of this country today resides in the DPI, which the government of India has gone and created. And it has become the central nervous system of anything and everything that we can go out to do. And I think kudos to the government of India and the various regulators who have created this infrastructure so that anybody can go and plug in and play. Number two is that the RBIH, which is the innovation hub of Reserve Bank of India, is leading from the front by creating something called as sandboxes. And they are the ones who are inviting a lot of us, whether we are from banking or from fintech or even for that matter from any other BFSI space or retail for all we know, to go out and create innovative solutions for India. So these are the two large plays which are happening, which are spurring innovation. Coming back to what we have gone out and done in terms of innovation inside Federal Bank. By the way, I don't know how many of you are aware, but Federal Bank is quietly the number 7 private sector bank in the country. We are a deposit-led bank and operate highly in spaces of tier 2, tier 3 India. For us particularly, there are 4 things that we have gone on and done which is innovative and something which we are very proud of. Number 1 is the Kisan Credit Card, which allows a farmer to go out and get a loan in less than 5 minutes, done again with the sandbox which RBI has provided. Number 2 is that we have launched something called a Smile Pay, India's first and I think only facial recognition payment technology. It is the Digiyatra of payments to bring it closer. And imagine somebody who can't maybe read, write, speak can now have a facial recognition and go out and make a payment. So it's the next level of UPI which is coming out. Number 3 is that we actively use AI to track our ATMs, particularly because it is in remote places and it becomes very difficult for folks to go in and refill the ATMs or check for its sanity and stuff like that. Of course, waning of ATM is another story, but we'll come to it. And fourth, which is very close to me, a lot of work that we do in marketing in Federal Bank is now being done by AI. It has helped me increase efficiencies, which is images, which is newsletters, which is content. But we have not left it at that, because the more you use technology, the more you need to instill trust in your customers. And I'm proud to tell you that we are the only brand globally which explicitly states that it's imagined by human and delivered by artificial intelligence. We put it, it's a trademarked line. So every time you see a creative from Federal Bank, it says it. Because we think that we owe it to our consumers to let them know that artificial is not real, but it is near real time when it comes to efficiencies in business and marketing. So those are the 4 things that we have gone and done in terms of innovation.
Oh, fantastic. The MBS, I like that tagline, imagined by humans, delivered by technology, something superb. And, fantastic many things that you've done. And in fact, I'm so glad that you have thought about Kisan credit card. How many of you have heard of Kisan credit card? In fact, most of us, because we are all city bred, we don't even realize that there is something called a Kisan and that he also has his needs. And therefore, when we design things, when we think about innovation, when we think about new products, it's always that urban consumer who is in our mind. So I'm so happy, that, and apart from thinking about the farmers and thinking about people in tier 4, tier 5 cities or villages and towns, so you're also catering to that large section of population which is underbanked even now. And this, apart from enhancing their consumer satisfaction, you're also opening up new business vistas for you, right? Samir, I turn to you. You come again from a very deep background of innovation. You are part of an organization which believes in innovation, in the mantra of innovation. Can you please share your experiences?
Yeah, thanks. So, couple of things. One is the need. Something along the lines of Kishan. We are in the space of education. Now, 4-5 years back, our education financing used to be traditional model. I'll look at the parent.
Closer to you.
Is it audible now? So, traditional model was look at the parent's income, property, and then finance the child. Now, 4-5 years back, we flipped it around. We said, boss, if this is what we are doing, we're not different. How do we underwrite the student first? And that is where the entire way we started thinking about addressing the need of education. Okay, so today we only look at the student and finance. We look at the parent only from an intent standpoint, but not from an income collateral standpoint. And that is where we have leveraged technology, because when you underwrite a student, there is nothing on the bureau. There is no data. Student just passed out. You don't find anything on the bureau. And that's where we've built models which actually can predict what can the student earn and for which stream at the age when he passes out at the age of 40, and how good is, what kind of financing can be done to certain set of students. So we've merged a model which comprises student, the kind of course, the kind of income generation of the course, and from where the course is being done. These three models we've been able to create using AI to a large extent over the last 1 year, but it has been modeling. But essentially we're addressing a need of the customer, which is finance a student for the student's pedigree, for the course that he's planning to pursue, and then forget about the parents. Parents are only there. That's one aspect we've leveraged technology in a big way, and we've addressed the need. And today I can proudly say 72 to 75% of our student comes from tier 2 and beyond. And essentially we tell ourselves we are a technology-led company, not a branch-led company. So when we were 7 years back, we were 17 branches. Today also we 17 branches. The book size has grown 20, 30 times, more than that actually. That's one thing. Second is the again challenge in collections. So we've developed models, and that is, I think, one of the advantages of COVID that I would say is how do we reach out to the right set of parent? Because our parents come from 500 locations in India. Which is the parent we need to first reach out to? And that's where we leveraged analytics in a big way. Today our models are able to predict a 10 to 20% of population, which can actually predict these are the 75% of the parent that you need to reach out. And that we've built on those models. Third is most importantly, digital public infrastructure. How many of us know that there are 1,500 universities who have started putting up the mark sheets of students, and we have started leveraging it big time. So DPI is something we've leveraged big time, and one of the recent one is validating student scores through the and somebody who's passed out after 2016, mark sheets are there. And there are 1,600 universities. This kid is not passed out of 1,600 universities. Then we need to look out for those universities, which are this university. So that's how we're building in intelligence into the system. The last thing probably I would say is, and one thing around technology and partnerships, we built up platforms which are integrable. So today I want to work with a partner who is a large partner on the education ecosystem. I'm able to integrate. I'm able to integrate with a downstream partner. So it's all about integration backward, integration forward. That's something we've worked. in a large way over the last 2 to 3 years, because our entire intent was to become technology-led rather than putting up branches to address the need of the students.
Thank you very much, Samir. I mean, in fact, you see, the way education loan was always traditionally thought, you have to had approved courses, approved colleges, and if the amount of loan was above a certain limit, you had to have collateral. That was a standard model. But look at the innovative thinking that they have done. They said, "Well, hell with all of this. Just look at the earning potential of the student, right? And let's work upon that as the primary security rather than upon the collaterals and the parents. Those will become the secondary securities if the need arises. And the use of data that they are making, directly taking data from the university, something again, I guess, great use of the digital public infrastructure. See, many times, many of the infrastructure things are available, but then how to use them and how to use them innovatively is what matters and what actually distinguishes you from others. Last in this round is Hitesh Bhai, and he has been a close colleague of MVS. I understand both of them were cabin mates, and they have done a lot of innovation together. He's a great champion of blockchain. He has worked tremendously on trade finance, right? An expert in that, and he is heading the innovations in the largest private sector bank in the country. So please, Hitesh, your inputs.
Thank you, sir, for those kind words. And ICICI Bank, we have always believed in technology as the force multiplier for all our businesses. Innovation is at the core of our strategy. So in last couple of years, sir, we have created several digital properties to enable our customers not only to do seamless banking, but also support their other needs. So we created InstaBiz, which is for the small businesses, wherein on this platform, they can do their banking and also get other services which are required for their day-to-day businesses, whether it is, compliance like GST filing, income tax filing, or they need other business partners to enhance their business. So it's a one-stop kind of a platform where you get everything, whatever a small businessman needs apart from banking. And banking has kind of become an invisible part of it, right? So it's kind of embedded into all those things. Other digital property we have created, sir, is Trade Emerge, again to support importers, exporters, not only with their trade finance needs, but also to connect them with the right logistic partners, right set of shipping companies, and provide a holistic solution for their trade needs. Apart from that, sir, we have created API developer portal, and this is, I would say, is an attempt where how do we create seamless partnerships? For us, the partnerships are a way of life and growth. So to enable that seamlessly, we have created an API portal where we have hosted all our APIs. We have 250 plus APIs which we have hosted on this portal, and we have also well documented those APIs. We have defined use cases in terms of how do you use these APIs and create products on top of it. So it's an innovation hotbed where any partner, any startups, any fintech can come on, use those APIs, consume those APIs, create products, and they need not spend time in integrating with us, spend time on other aspects which kind of delays the the innovation process. So I would say that this is one of the best portal which we have created, and our APIs our downtimes are minimal across all these APIs. We monitor it rigorously. Third thing that we are as a bank, we have coined a term called bank to bank tech. We are moving, as the term reflects, how do, as a bank, you kind of, many times the questions are that, is it a, technology company running a bank, or it's a bank using technology, right? And there's always a debate around that. We believe that, we are on that journey from bank to bank tech. And in that perspective, sir, we have been using AI big time across various use cases and domains, whether it is something called credit by invite, where we have evaluated all our existing customers and we have not gone and asked from them any documents. we have created credit by invite model where we are telling our customers that these are the loan products or these are the credit products you are eligible for without asking any documents, right? Based on the data which we have, and we are offering it them and they can avail it, without on a click of a button. We are also using, AI in our predictions of our delinquencies, our collections model. We are using satellite data. Again, we are using an AI there in terms of how do you use satellite data to reach out to farmers and use it for agri lending business. I can go on and go on. There are multiple things which are done on that aspect. And last, I would say is, sir, using DPI in a big way. We have been the biggest promoters of some of the large ecosystems which are getting created, sir, like account aggregation framework. We've been supporting Sahmati big time to promote account aggregation framework in the country. We've been supporting ONDC from very early days. It will bring another revolution in digital commerce. We have created a company called IBDIC, which is Indian Bank Digital Infra Company, wherein we have got 18 banks to participate and it's owned by all the banks. And there we are building trade finance network. It's one of the very unique initiatives which will curtail the overall time which is required in terms of, the trade transactions by the corporates and by the customers. So, these are some of the things which has helped us to create more customer-centric solutions, and our approach is more customer-centric rather than earlier model of banking where it was branch-led approach and everything was built around branch. We are following a customer-centric approach. Now we are building everything around customer.
Right. Thank you, Hitesh. In fact, the innovation lab that you have created and you're exposing of your APIs to the end users and make them play with that in order to see what new things can be built is a great idea, right? And I like that work, bank to bank tech. I mean, something which everybody should adopt, or perhaps, as we go along, it will get adopted all by itself, because banks are becoming tech companies, so to say. So in the interest of time now, what we'll do is we'll confine ourselves to a few speakers. We'll try to look into the future. Many interesting things are happening. ONDC, account aggregator, UPI-based lending, So what does the future hold for us? And what are the new things that we expect to happen in the next 1 or 2 years? So Priyam, if you can share your views on UPI-based lending.
So, MV has touched upon RBIH and their efforts on doing a lot of things in the country. So, Reserve Bank Innovation Hub is also building the ULI, Unified Lending Interface. The way we have UPI for payments, something for lending is being built as we talk. And, at an advanced stage, many banks are participating in that building. So now what they are building is one interface for all the banks where end-to-end lending can happen. In the sense, right now you have some fintech tie-up with some company for either it's in-house or you have a tie-up with some company for onboarding. Then you might be having another tie-up with another company for banking analysis, with somebody else for GST data. And then, you come up with a loan amount for a particular customer, and then the file gets processed. There's a catch. Right now, if you notice in the fintech space, you have mostly the companies who are in the unsecured space or in the supply chain finance space. Both are unsecured. Why? Because there's no way to digitize the secured data. What ULI is doing is they are talking to all the states and trying to get the entire data of all the customers' properties. That data is right now fragmented in the country. Every state is keeping it in a different way. They are trying to make it uniform and extracting that data. Once that happens, that would be a game changer for secured lending, because then you would be able to do end-to-end lending using that data and also getting mortgage done online. So, one, they're developing the onboarding platform. They are also developing their own banking analyzer. They are developing their own GST extraction module. They are talking to all the states to get the secured data, the mortgage data in place. And then they'll tell the lenders, come and use us and lend money to all the customers across the country. Now, that's a game changer which is happening. I think we will change the landscape right now from unsecured, and RBI has been a little critical about the unsecured lending going up. This will go towards the secured lending piece. And then I think India would be truly digitized in every sense, where security would also be digital. So that's a big piece which is coming up.
Thank you, Priyam. And as ULI matures, I believe it will truly be a game changer, because if you have completely digitized lending, that's something which will be great. Hitesh, you did mention about ONDC.
Yeah.
And I believe that in the years to come, ONDC not only as a selling platform for small retailers, but also perhaps, linking it with other things in the ecosystem and perhaps being the base for digital lending also. So some thoughts on that?
Yeah, maybe I'll ask audience, when you want to book a cab, what are the options you have? Uber and Ola, right? I mean, and when you want to order a food, what are the options you have? Swiggy, Zomato, right? So, in some way we have created digital monopolies, right? Or there are few platforms which can actually, there are no further choices available. And these are few platforms which are controlling the larger part of either, let's say, cab booking or quick commerce, or when it comes to, food deliveries. Yeah. So ONDC, the concept is how do you democratize the digital commerce and also ensure that even the smallest of the merchant, traders or businessmen, they participate in the India growth story in a big way, in this digital revolution in a big way, and they are not left out but for the want of technology. And that's where ONDC has created a platform which can be used by anyone and everyone. There is no bar, right? And at a very affordable cost, and help you to digitize your business and be part of the main digital revolution. I was talking to, MVS, her wife runs a farm, and all her produce, she is using ONDC as a platform to sell all her produce. Now imagine, the kind of marketplace and the ease it has created for someone who's running a farm like her. I'm sure there are many entrepreneurs, who are kind of getting benefited. If you know about Namayatri, if you've been Bangalore, I would urge all of you to please use Namayatri. Namayatri is a platform for, using your autos for mobility, for travel. And it's a fantastic platform where it is helping the auto and rickshaw drivers and cab drivers to create, digitized offerings. You can book it through them and at a very minimal cost to them, right? So I'm saying more and more such use cases are coming out of ONDC platform. It's in itself is a very big ecosystem, and it is a next big revolution when it comes to the digital commerce. I would just touch upon a 1 minute on account aggregation framework also, sir, if you are okay. Yeah. So account aggregation framework is another initiative led by the Reserve Bank of India. The premise of the entire account aggregation framework is that whatever data we have, that data doesn't belong to us. The data belongs to the customer. We are the custodian of that data. And many times, you want to offer some products or services to the customer. As a bank, we struggle that we keep collecting a lot of data from customers. And most of the time, customers get frustrated that why are you asking for so much of data? Now, account aggregation is a solution to that, wherein it's a consent architecture. So data belongs to the customer. Customer will give you consent to collect its data from various sources. And on a click of a button, you can collect that data and then use that data, analyze the data and offer a solution or a product or a service, to the customer. So today, account aggregation framework is allowing the sharing of data among financial institutions. It is also expanding its footprint, getting GSTN data, investment data, insurance data. Imagine I as a customer go to a bank and say, I want a loan, and I give you my consent. On a click of a button, bank will be able to fetch my banking details, my GSTN details, my income tax details, and offer me a loan stating that, hey, this is what you are eligible for, right? So that data collection part is, where people used to spend 80% of the time and 20% on analytics. Now it will get reverse, where you don't spend any time on data collection, but most of the time you can spend on analytics and create a superlative product offerings for the customers. And this is another big revolution, and it will bring so much of efficiency and a scale which is unimaginable. It will kind of completely change the paradigm way we are doing banking today.
Right. So thank you, Hitesh. MVS, I'll give you the last word only for one reason, that Hitesh has promoted your wife's. Well, how many of you ever thought How many of you ever thought that Ambe Harat could be sold online, and from the farm directly onto your kitchen, right? So you owe it to him, and so therefore you have to contribute.
Thank you.
Please.
I will not have anything for.
No, so what do you want me to speak of?
Tell us what your vision of the next 2-3 years is as far as the BFSI innovation is concerned.
Okay. Let me just share this with you that as an Indian, I'm absolutely excited because it is 2025 and 5 years from now, we are supposed to be a $7 trillion economy. 2047, we have a goal of being a $30 trillion economy. That's the headline story. When you look at what is happening around us, and which is where I have great confidence in the fact that we will be able to make it more inclusive when it comes to banking, lending, whatever we call it as, is that 38,000 kilometers of India is being connected by the Bharatmala project. Okay, 7,800 kilometers of our sea, the Indian Peninsula Sea, is being connected by the Sagarmala project. There are about 140 odd airports coming in because of Udan. Now you just imagine the possibility of getting people, goods, services, everything, mainstreamed. Second is that anyway you have a whole DPI which is playing out. So it's not that somebody is waking up in the morning and saying, "Aaj main ye karunga." Aisa nahi ho raha. It's all happening sequentially. And the most important thing is that a country is equal to border plus borderless. Border is your land and borderless is the economy. We are becoming a borderless economy. Today the same UPI can be used in France. SmilePay can be used by a family to pay for a ticket for the Eiffel Tower and click a nice selfie picture. It becomes a memory. So there are various ways in this in the technology play. But having said so, I am a strong believer that the future is human. How much ever technology you have, you will need to have a human. And not for nothing do we say कि रिश्ता आपसे है, सिर्फ आपसे नहीं. When your card doesn't reach you, you want to swear at a human being. Whether swearing is good or no is a different thing, but you want to swear at somebody, but you need a human. All our health issues is because we are talking to machines, we are talking to bots, we are talking to devices, we are not talking to humans. So I think the future of technology is human. And the most important part we need to recognize is that there is a difference between speed and efficiency. Kumbh Mela was just, concluded. The way to now go around the Ganges is by a motorboat. लेकिन लोगों को तेज़ी नहीं चाहिए, उनको ठहराव चाहिए. ठहराव है जो efficiency में आएगी जब अगला नौका goes slowly because the boatman takes you by, and that is the joy of going into Ganges. So somewhere in this deluge of technology, we are missing the key aspect that we need to have human. And I want to conclude saying that the future of technology and banking and India is in our intellectual capital. And why not we become the consulting capital for the world?
Thank you very much. You summed it up extremely well, MVS. Time's up. So, there's a lot more to be discussed, but time's up. So, therefore, we will have to conclude. And of course, you mentioned about Mahakumbh. In fact, the figure as of yesterday was 67 crore people had visited Mahakumbh. That is more than the population of North America and South America put together. That's more than the population of Africa plus Europe put together.
Twice the population of Europe.
Just imagine this, handling this massive number of people. And there was one small incident which was pretty unfortunate. But except for that one small incident which happened, the whole thing goes seamlessly. And they have used technology, although they are not, maybe it's not been publicized that much, but they have used technology very, very efficiently. Though the CCTV cameras that they had placed, the Chief Minister of the state himself monitoring through those CCTV cameras and ensuring that the crowd management happens. Otherwise, managing this massive crowd is something which is absolutely... So, we Indians have this massive potential of using technology in the most innovative way and the most cost-effective way. All that we need to do is to let our imagination flow freely like Mother Ganges, like Mother Yamuna and Mother Saraswati. Thank you very much for being such a nice audience.
Thank you.